his victory over the Ravens on Sunday, Steelers coach Mike Tomlin notched his 140th career regular season win, breaking a tie with Tony Dungy for the most wins for a black head coach in NFL history. Tomlin is in his 14th season with Pittsburgh and also has 8 postseason wins and a Super Bowl title on his resume. Shannon, what's your reaction to all this?
I don't really know the big deal why they made a big deal out of Skip winning as a black head coach. I thought all coaches mattered. When Mike Tomlin got into the coaching profession, and most people say, Skip, I want to be judged against the greats, my peers, not black, not white, just coaches. When Lenny Wilkins became the all-time winningest coach in basketball history, they didn't say he was had the most wins as a black coach. They said he was the winningest coach in basketball history. Eddie Robinson, the same thing, Skip. He was the winningest coach in college football history.
He was.
Not black.
Yep.
Now, I get it. And he passed Tony Dungy, and Tony Dungy, we know what Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy's been great. He was the first black head coach to win the Super Bowl. And he gave Mike Tomlin his start, his opportunity. And I believe Coach Dungy is a mentor to Mike Tomlin. But that's not, and if Tony Dungy is a measuring stick, oh, so be it. But I think Mike Tomlin wants to be measured against other coaches, black or white. He wants to be measured against Bill Belichick. He wants to be measured against the Don Shulas, the Andy Reeds, or whomever.
Or the Bill Cowers.
Whomever the great coaches are, whomever you deem that is a great coach, that's how he wants to be measured. Not just because he's black. Skip, don't measure just, oh, he's winning most games. What is that guy? Skip, no other guy. Mike Tomlin is one win away from being 14 years without a losing season. Has that got any more black coaches hired? No. None. Why hasn't Jim Caldwell got a job? And Matt Patricia, steady losing. Ain't had a winning record. Ain't even come close to winning. And he still got a job. Skip, I commend Mike Tomlin. Of all the coaches that's coaching right now, he would be probably #1 because he's very matter of fact. I love that. Tell me what you want. Tell me what I need to do, coach. Leave me alone. That's how he coaches. I'm good with that. But this, Skip, for a society that says we don't see color, we sure see color awful lot, don't we, Skip? Now it's black. Man, look here. Congratulations, Mike, for whatever that is. I don't even know what that means. I'm glad you're having the level of success that you're having because a lot of people didn't think you deserved the job in the Steelers to begin with. And a lot of people, prominent people, have called for your job. But the Rooneys, the one thing we know about them, Skip, they've only had 3 coaches in about 55 years. They don't react to the media. They don't react to fans. They stay the course.
Well, a year or 2 years ago, all I heard was Mike Tomlin has lost the locker room. I think we went back and forth about that right here.
Well, he needed to get the people out of the locker room that was causing him to lose it. They got rid of that. And you think about this, Skip, what he was able to do. I think they went 500 last year. Ben with the elbow. No Le'Veon, no Antonio Brown, with a guy named Duck. And somehow he managed to win 8 games.
He did.
So Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Black, white, Hispanic, Native, it doesn't matter. He's great by all measures. So that's what I think of that.
So I hear you loud and clear. Are you then suggesting we should have a new sensitivity level when it comes to, say, the Associated Press or USA Today, writing these stories or applauding these achievements, black versus black coaches? He became the greatest black head coach. Should they now have a new, in their guidebook, should they say, we don't do that anymore? Should that be the new way?
Yeah, Skip, just Russell Wilson, only Peyton Manning and Dan Marino, and now Russell Wilson has passed for at least 250 touchdowns in the first 9 seasons. They didn't say Russell Wilson is the first black quarterback to pass for 250 yards. They said he's the first quarterback. They didn't say Mahomes was the first quarterback to go 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards and the first black quarterback. That's not what they did. So I want to know what's so important about it that we got that Mike. We know Mike Tomlin's black.
Okay. So here's my issue. Bigger picture. In 2018, the National Football League reached an all-time high of 7 black head coaches. And unfortunately, a number of them have lost their jobs. And now we're down to 3. And that includes a Brian Flores, who just got his job last year, who looks like he's on an arc right now toward big success in this league. But we got your man Anthony Lynn still hanging on with the Chargers, but they've had a rough year.
3 straight losses,
Yeah,
which they
they've
led
blown
by at least
some leads.
17.
They have. And Brian Flores is on the rise, and obviously Mike Tomlin is at the top of his profession. But that's it.
Right.
Again, I'm very close to John Wooten, who's overseeing the Rooney Rule for the Fritz Pollard Alliance. And he's just at wit's end here because he needs more interviews.
Right.
The Institute for Diversity in Sports last year gave the NFL a D+ in hiring head coaches of minority coaches. I don't know. They also gave the league an A+ for hiring black assistant coaches.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pipeline seems like it's pretty full, right?
Skip, that's like the restaurant. We won't hire the chef, but we'll let you be the sous chef, or we'll let you work in the kitchen. They won't.
Okay. So the only advantage I see to applauding achievements about black head coaches is that with any luck that it opens some eyes in upstairs, some white eyes, some closed white minds to say, boy, Mike Tomlin, he's really proven to be a great one. Maybe I should think about interviewing a young black assistant.
Skip, Mike Tomlin has just been doing this since he's been there.
Yep.
He's just been doing that. He lose receivers. He lose different. Hey, they do what they do. If Mike Tomlin passing Tony Dungy, if that's what it took, I already know you're not going to hire anybody. Because Mike Tomlin has gone to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, took a team, and lost the other to Aaron Rodgers, who had a historic day that day. So Mike Tomlin, and win division, and it's not like they're in some powder puff division. They're in the same division with the Ravens, and we know what the Ravens represent.
Yep.
So for this, all of a sudden, I didn't even know this existed, Skip. It didn't even dawn on me that Tony Dungy had this many wins and Mike Tomlin could potentially pass him. It never even dawned on me.
Okay. Should we have applauded Doug Williams being the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
Because, Skip, because for, longest time, they said blacks couldn't play that position because they couldn't think on their feet. They couldn't process information fast enough.
Yep.
So by him because that was the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal was to get to the Super Bowl. Okay, now a black guy got there and he won it.
Okay, should we have applauded not one black head coach becoming the first coach in the Super Bowl, but they met. It was Tony and Lovey, right?
Because Lovey was on Tony's staff in Tampa.
So the first black head coach we had in the Super Bowl, we had 2 of them.
Right, so we were going to get a winner.
Okay, and after the 06 season, right?
Right.
Okay, should we applaud that? Well, yeah, I think we should applaud that. It took a while.
The thing is, though, Skip, is that Mike Tomlin is not the first to get a win as a black head coach. Okay, you're talking about something historic. This is the first time that we've ever seen 2 black head coaches meeting in the Super Bowl. Okay, we got the first African-American head coach to win the Super Bowl. We got the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. And I know Doug talked to Doug a couple of months ago. Skip, it was the stigma that was placed on the black quarterback. There were a lot of Lamar Jacksons. There were a lot of Kyler Murrays that didn't get the opportunity to play quarterback.
Yep.
Now they're getting the opportunity because of what Doug did.
Yep.
Skip, there ain't nobody giving. Black can't even get an interview.
So I was fortunate enough to have spent a week with Doug Williams at Grambling in his final year at Grambling, when he should have been the first overall pick in the draft, and he fell all the way to 17th because GMs thought, oh, he can't think on his feet.
Yes.
Okay, so we get that. But I got to know Coach Rob, as they called him.
That's what they
Great
call
Eddie
Coach Rob.
Robinson.
Yep.
And you're right. I never thought of him as anything but the greatest coach ever.
Right.
He was right there with Bear Bryant to me, like in aura, mystique. I didn't think of him as a black head coach at a quote-unquote, it'd be a historically black college, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now maybe we need to leave all that behind, but what we don't need to leave behind is the fact we only have 3 black head coaches right now. We got to fix that. That's just wrong. What do we say the league is? It's still 70?
At least 70%.
70% black, and we have 3 black head coaches, and 2 of them are really on the rise right here, right?
And the thing is, Skip, with the black head coaches is that their line is a lot shorter.
Yep.
I mean, Jim Caldwell had really 1 losing season, and he was gone. Even after he had took the team to the playoffs twice.
Yep.
Matt Patricia ain't even come close, Skip, to get to the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they say, well, we want to see more. Oh, but he understands what we expect. What? Jim Caldwell didn't know. Jim Caldwell was producing.
Yep.
And then Matt Patricia get on TV and talk about he had a lot of work to do. No, you didn't.
Interesting. I appreciate you bringing this up.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike Tomlin, I love Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin went to William & Mary. My brother used to go down there because he was an endorsee of Nike. Nike puts on a clinic. My brother was Mike Tomlin's receiver coach when he was at William & Mary. And every time he sees me, tell your brother thank you, because I think my brother gave him a pair of shoes and a T-shirt or something. Tell your brother thank you. Appreciate what he did for me. Appreciate what you do. I love Mike Tomlin. But Skip, Mike Tomlin is a great coach, not just a black coach.
I got it. Mike
Tomlin is great at what he does, and he just happens to be black. I don't look at him any other way. I don't look at Andy Reid and say, man, Andy Reid's good for a white coach. I don't look at, Bill Belichick's good for a white. That ain't what they do. He wants to be measured by the success by the other coaches or his peers. That's what I want to be judged by, Skip. Peers.
Okay, so final thought. Should we, because you will often identify a black quarterback having success and point out, is that okay to you to continue to acknowledge that black quarterbacks are obviously on the rise?
We're on the move. But see, but the thing is, Skip, is that we don't compare black quarterbacks to other black quarterbacks. We compare them to the greatness at that position.
Yep.
Lamar, the black quarterback gonna get compared to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and the other greats. They're not compared to Warren Moon.
No.
They're not compared to Randall Cunningham and Mike Vick.
True.
You might say they have similarities, but you play that position, you're compared to other greats at that position.
Yep.
Not just the ones of color that played that position.
I got it. And as you said yesterday, Lamar Jackson is going to have to throw the ball more effectively to win in this league.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Really interesting discussion, guys. Appreciate both of you guys sharing your opinions there. I do want to go back to Tom Brady and the Bucs. They're making their move in the NFC. Are they destined to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium?
Yep.
Shannon, would you like to go to the Super Bowl in Tampa this year? Because I think Skip and I will be there.
Y'all going right ahead.
After the break.
No mercy.